We have a pretty second-rate constitution. We have a very second-rate head of state and institution around him. And there is a growing movement. Yes, we're still in a minority, but staunch monarchists are also in a minority. Most people don't care. And this spare row has, again, woken people up to the whole debate. And people will continue to have another look at this issue and move in our direction. So whether it will or not, I don't know, but it certainly can do.
Prince Harry's popularity has fallen to a new low in recent days, according to polling by YouGov, and net favourability of the monarchy has dropped by 25 percentage points in the last 5 months since the late Queen's death. So what does the latest saga over Harry's book tell us about the monarchy in modern times? We're joined now by Graham Smith, the chief executive at Republic, which campaigns to replace the monarchy with an elected head of state, and Times columnist Libby Purvis. Morning to both of you.
Morning.
Morning.
Graham, is this manna from heaven for you, this whole spat arising out of Harry, or what does it mean for people's views of the monarchy from your experience?
Well, it is doing a lot of damage to the monarchy, and the problem that they have is in the past when they've had these big crises, they've had the Queen there who has been seen as sort of beyond reproach. She's been their heat shield, and she's been there long enough after these crises to sort of settle things down. That's not going to happen this time. They just have King Charles, who is implicated and who is a difficult and less sympathetic figure. You have William, who is very much implicated in a lot of this row. And beyond that, in terms of the principal figures, I mean, you've got the Camilla and Kate as well. But I mean, beyond that, Harry is not going away. These issues are not going away. You then have Prince Andrew, and that issue is likely to come back up again because the gagging order on Virginia Giuffre is going to expire. So yeah, this is all. I say, it's all very unseemly and unpleasant, but I think what it does is show an awful lot of people what the monarchy is really like and what the royal household is really like, which I think a lot of people, including a lot of royal biographers, have known for a long time. But it's shining a very sharp spotlight on it, and as we've seen from the YouGov poll you just quoted, that is having a considerable effect.
Libby, it's inconceivable in lots of ways that this would happen in this way if the Queen was still alive. I mean, maybe he would never even publish the book. Certainly the reactions to the book would be different. I wonder if, as Graham was saying, that this book is significant, but maybe the most significant thing to happen to the monarchy is the loss of the Queen.
Yes, I think the loss of the Queen created a sort of national wobble, really. 70 very steady years. But, I just do not think that the damage is that bad. I think the amazing revelation that these people are actually human and that there are sometimes disagreements among them it shouldn't be that surprising. By the way, I don't know how much... Sorry, our colleague, I've lost the name, has actually read of the book, but I've been reading it this morning since 6:30 because I happened to wake up early and I had downloaded it. And Charles does not come out of it all that badly, a bit, he's old. There's this kind of typical young person, slight scoffing contempt. Oh, he seems rather old, and he's a bit set in his ways and he has a teddy bear. But actually, the incredible paternal care and kindness and anxiety of Charles comes out very, very solidly in the actual book. Obviously, Camilla is disliked, but some of the accusations just don't work. I mean, the fact is, we know it has been proven that it was not Camilla that leaked this tiny detail of a conversation with Prince William. We know that didn't happen. So there's so much sort of contradiction and doubt about it, as there is in any family. And I just still think I'm still a mild, moderate monarchist. I see it as something useful, which represents the country without being political, and which represents charities for the powerless and encouraging of decent work and altruism, things like the Prince's Trust and so on. And I just think it is useful. I don't think there's any reason to abolish it. That's as far as I go, really.
And this doesn't change.
It's not that damaging. It really isn't that damaging. I think this is hysterical frenzy going on at the moment, but it will abate.
Graham, it's an interesting point there, because if you pitch them as an ordinary family with ordinary problems, all of these things, brothers not getting on, stepmothers coming in, does that help you or hinder you? Because on one side, Libby might say, well, they're just an ordinary family that we can empathise with a bit more. It doesn't mean very much. But if they are just an ordinary family, maybe their ordinariness slightly militates against them being given this privileged position.
Well, indeed. I mean, we've been told for decades that they aren't an ordinary family and that they are exceptional in many ways. They aren't and never have been. But if they are an ordinary family, why are we spending £345 million a year on them? Why do we allow William and Charles each a personal income of £22 million a year from the duchies, which is state property? Why do we allow them a whole raft of legal privileges? Why do we allow, this is a lot of personal chatter about their personal lives. And as Libby was saying, maybe Charles doesn't come across quite so awful as a father, but he has been accused. I reported him to the police myself last year, the year before, sorry. He has been accused of cash for honours accusations, which he has obviously denied. He has been accused, or certainly questions have been raised about why he receives €3 million in cash from a very dodgy individual from Qatar. He's been accused of misuse of public money, of hypocrisy on the environment. So there is the personal aspect, but there are a whole lot of other issues around Charles, which raise doubts as to whether he would be head of state. And I would say this is quite an important point, just on the narrow question of who our head of state is. I don't think that if we had a free and fair election in which there were other candidates, in which all the information was available, in which the candidates, including Charles or William, were on air having a debate, they would not win. We would vote for someone else. And we have them. The fact that we would not vote for them and yet we have them, I think, is a serious problem. And we ought to have a free and fair discussion about who we have. If you look at Ireland and Iceland and Germany and Finland, they have a grown-up system where they get to choose their heads of state, and many of them are exceptional individuals, like Michael D. Higgins, like Vigdis Finnbogadóttir, who was the first woman ever elected head of state in the world in Iceland in 1980. There are lots of these people who are inspirational, and they don't drag the country into this quagmire of petty jealousies and rather tawdry detail.
I understand, but do you buy that argument, Libby? Because one thing this does seem to be, this is not a clever family, and yet they are given this power over us from a birthright. Does that matter to you, Libby? You admire cleverness. I know that you do.
I find it quite difficult to accept always this thing of they're massively, incredibly privileged, and yet at the same time they're shockingly imprisoned, and it's all dreadful. We're being fed both these things simultaneously. You say not a clever family. Some of them are actually quite clever and have managed things quite cleverly and have been representative. I don't think there is a strong case for republicanism at the moment. As for the business of a vote, you may be distressed to hear that actually the majority still is in favour of retaining the monarchy. That's just whenever it's polled, that's the way it comes out. When the time comes that there is a genuine big major national democratic feeling that we don't want a monarchy, that's fine. And I think they would be willing to step away. But at the moment, we're just not in that situation. And I think Republic is a very angry organisation, it always seems to me, very, very resentful, kind of like a kind of incarnation of Harry in a curious way. This absolute resentment. Why am I always the spare? Why am I not the king? And I just don't find this convincing. Just don't.
Okay, before you go, both of you, then, Libby, you mentioned that if there was a great democratic movement, then it might happen. Will that happen in your lifetime, do you think? Will there ever be a big push to have a republic in this country?
I'm older than you, Stig, and I have less lifetime than you. So ask yourself that question, or indeed ask one of your younger colleagues.
I feel that it won't happen in my lifetime. I'd like to think, therefore, it won't happen in your time, because you and I will go out at the same time in many decades to come. Graham, do you think in your lifetime will there be a republic?
I think it can happen, absolutely. I think that they are in quite a lot of trouble. I think that Republic is not an angry organisation, as Libby said. We are a pro-democracy organisation. There are lots of constitutional issues here as well, which is also becoming quite a big issue. We have a pretty second-rate constitution. We have a very second-rate head of state and institution around him. And there is a growing movement. Yes, we're still in a minority, but staunch monarchists are also in a minority. Most people don't care. And this spare row has, again, woken people up to the whole debate. And people will continue to have another look at this issue and move in that direction. So whether it will or not, I don't know, but it certainly can do.
Okay, well, we'll have to leave it there. That's really interesting stuff. Thank you so much both for joining us. That's Graham Smith, Chief Executive at Republic, and the Times columnist Libby Purvis. And has your opinion changed on the monarchy? Libby's view is that this isn't really going to shift anyone's opinion. Has it shifted yours? You can text us at 87222, start your message with the word Times, or you can tweet us at Times.
Welcome back to Meghan and Harry Tales, where we dive into the stormy seas of royal debates and monarchy scandals. Today, we're peeling back the gilded curtain on the monarchy, questioning its relevance, its scandals and its future. With Prince Harry's favourability hitting new lows and King Charles facing allegations from cash for honours to questionable public spending, the cracks in the crown have never been clearer. But is this just another royal drama or a wake-up call for change? With critics calling the monarchy a second-rate institution and growing movements advocating for a republic, the debate is heating up. Meanwhile, others argue the monarchy's flaws only prove their humanity, an ordinary family in extraordinary circumstances. From Queen Elizabeth's steady reign to Charles and William's challenges, we're breaking down why the monarchy is at a crossroads. Can this ancient institution survive modern scrutiny? And what role does Harry's explosive memoir play in reshaping the public's view? Join us for bold takes, fiery opinions, and the untold truths of the royal family. Let's talk power, privilege, and whether the monarchy's golden era is over. Subscribe, comment, and let us know, should the monarchy evolve, or is it time for the crown to fall?